and we are looking now at the new Reports extension in Skyline. Once you get an active license for this extension, you'll be able to see the new Reports button on the main menu. Here we currently have 4 categories of reports, and these are designed to be easy to use for anyone on your team. So let's take a look at what we can do with materials. This first one is a comprehensive materials report. So I can filter by sheet, I can look at specific materials or specific material categories. And keep in mind that anything that displays in the grid here will get exported out. So if there are columns that I don't want, I can right click on those headers and choose to hide those. Or I can pull in additional columns from the database really easily. There's no need to write complicated queries or format reports in Access. Now any user is capable of getting this data out and getting it presented in a really nice format. So I can export a PDF or Excel, and I want that spreadsheet. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's take a look at it. So now you can see I have a nicely formatted spreadsheet that I can colorize, I can add formulas to, and I can send to whoever needs this. A lot of times PMs are asking for this data, and there's a guy who's got to spend hours tallying up all the materials for the project, looking at every sheet. And now anyone on your team can do this with just a couple clicks. Now let's take a look at another really interesting report. This is a cool one. This is the material cost report. With this guy, I can add dollar values to any material type and calculate my complete material cost for the entire project. This is a wild new capability that you can let your project managers and let your clients know that you can do now. This is especially valuable on design projects where cost planning is intensive and material cost, procurement cost, weigh a lot on decision making and route selection, and this is going to give your clients really fast insight that's coming straight from your team. Now let's take a quick look at a couple other reports, and we'll do this really quickly. And our first one is the property crossing report, which gives me a really fast line list complete with entry and exit stations and total linear footage. And if there are other attributes that I want to pull out of the database, I can do that here as well. I can also generate a properties with no crossing report, so that way we can make sure that we're not cutting checks to property owners who are no longer in the right-of-way. Environmental is very similar with my entry-exit stations, and this is great for supporting the environmental teams that are on my project. And the last one is the code report. This report is really useful for having conversations around with your client or with your field crews about what data is to be expected to be collected, or what data is being collected in the field currently. And it's much easier to have a conversation with your client around a report like this rather than looking at a raw FXL or something that's coming out of Trimble Business Center. So all of these reports are designed to be really flexible and customizable with filters built into the interface that you can use to get at the data that you want. Some of these reports are querying 3 or 4 tables, and writing queries like that takes a lot of skill and know-how, not only with Access database skills, but understanding project databases and how pipeline data is being managed inside of a Blue Sky project database. So this new reports tool makes it really easy to use for anyone on your team. And this gives you a great competitive advantage. And now you've got resources abounding within your company, people who may have only been using Skyline for a couple weeks, or maybe they're just a CAD person who doesn't cut sheets yet, but they can now provide a lot of value to your team that can give you a great competitive advantage in supporting your client in new ways. So Skyline Reports is a nice tool that you can add to your toolbox. It's at a pretty low cost, so get in touch with us for a quote and let us know what other reports you'd like to see in this extension, and we'll be talking to you soon.